translator.
Yeah, I brought my spokesman.
How about those starters for the 3 games?
Pretty good. We knew that when we recruited them, and I think it's just a culmination of being surrounded by guys that motivate you. They all certainly want to kind of one-up each other, and even when Fry came out, he goes, "You think I did better than Benny today?" And maybe outpitched him, and they're always competing, so it's good. I think they really set the tone for everything, and hopefully our guys, hopefully they want to do more than them. I heard a conversation one day, some guy says, well, if I strike out 10, that means you got to get more than 10 hits as a squad. So it's good. Those guys are good, and hopefully their best is still yet to come.
Now, you mentioned setting the tone. All 3 days shut down the top of their order. I mean, how big was that?
Real big. They take good swings. Baumgartner's had a good last 2 seasons. He's better than he was last year. Tolman has certainly made himself a better hitter. We probably didn't buckle down on the bottom of the order as much as we probably should have, and maybe that's just the mental game, getting in and getting out when you're not supposed to, and keeping your foot on the gas. But I think anytime that you can keep the top of anybody's order from doing damage to you, put yourself in a good position to at least have some success.
These series always bring about intense environments. How do you feel about the way you guys handled that all 3 days? Seemed like they played with energy and had juice.
Yeah, I think that's everything that's good about college sports. I think that them being back in the baseball world is a good thing. I think that's good for everybody, and for our kids, hopefully they understand what it is, because that's our best taste of playoff atmosphere that we're going to have before we get into the postseason.
Obviously, you guys have some tough opponents coming up. How nice is it just getting this sweep at home, heading into some tough series?
We take it one game at a time. We don't look at it so much as a sweep, because you can't win Sunday when you're playing on Friday, and it really doesn't matter to us who we play. We're trying to win it 1 pitch at a time, as generic as that sounds, because ultimately this conference is such a challenge week in and week out that one pitch, you take 1 pitch off, it could cost you the game, and who knows what type of momentum that could possibly create for the other team moving into the next inning, the next game, or the next series.
What was your answer for Friday? Do you think he did as well as Wetzler today, or is it on par, maybe even a little
Well,
better?
I don't know which one of them's leading the category in the hit by pitches and the 3-ball counts and the walks, but I guess we'll get that sorted out as we get going. But they certainly did a good job. I think Fry probably had more ground ball outs, which is something we would prefer. We're pretty good on the ground, and I like those outfielders not to have to work too hard. I prefer them to save their legs for running the bases.
Considering the competition, Nate, would this be, 1 hit in 8 innings against a quality team like that? Is this in some ways as good as even a no-hitter for him?
Absolutely. I think no-hitters happen. I don't think that it's necessarily, you think there's probably a couple good plays in that particular game behind Jace. It's a funny game. Some days it can really reward you. That guy got wrecked by Sac State just about 6 days ago. So for him to turn around, I think that's what we have to challenge ourselves to do, is stay locked into how good we can be. We have to compare ourselves to ourselves and where we need to take our game.
Jason also had 11 strikeouts today. What was he doing so well to make the Oregon line a miss?
Just mixing speeds, and even with his fastball, he was getting some swings and misses on his fastball. And against the left-handers, he was particularly well with his fastball command. So if he can tighten that up against the right-handers, I put it jokingly, but he knew I was serious. I said if you was certainly pitched ahead in the count, you probably could have punched out about a handful of more guys. I don't know necessarily a specific number, and possibly even thrown a complete game.
Jumping back one night, Nate, how much did Andrew need a start like that? Because he hasn't found the same consistency that he had last year. How was he last year?
Yeah, and I think that those are tough expectations to put on a kid, just because I told him at the beginning of the year, the very first conversation we had is, I don't expect you to win 18 games. I know there's lots of people that do. They expect you to have a better ERA, strike out more guys, walk fewer guys. I saw Felix won the Cy Young one year, and I don't know if his numbers were necessarily better the next, but for him, he has really been mentally tougher this year than he was last year. And he didn't have to be. He was surrounded by Boyd, by Wetzler, and some senior leadership with Smith and Hayes. So he's done a tremendous job, and he's just a tough kid. I think that the tide really turned for him probably at Stanford, or when we were here against them, just because that was a day when he was not particularly sharp and really understood that I can get through this. So he's gotten through the fire. He was halfway through, and he's working his way out the other side.